When are we gonna see women in the UFC, man?
Never.
Anytime soon? Never? Never.
You're a liar!
Alright, so Fight Night Frankie here with Jax again, with another MMA hit piece.
Rattle 'em, boys!
I feel like this is kind of the best time to talk about this one, because this weekend I think we have 1, 2, 3 shipbreak fights on this up-and-coming Apex card. We are, of course, talking about women's MMA, our favorite topic to talk about.
Pure fiction.
I think it's like 95% dog shit, bro.
We got you.
And I think I'm being somewhat charitable here.
Is he though?
If it was up to me, I would pretty much take the entire female roster out to the back of the barn and just put them out of their misery like old Yeller style. We do have a couple of exceptions and we know who they are. But assuming that's not an option and we're stuck with this bullshit forever.
It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless.
What would you suggest that could be done to make women's MMA less of an embarrassing joke?
Oh, I'll be fine. It's just, God, I hate her, Ross. I hate her.
We talked about a little bit in the video that we did together with CJ about, you know, them getting some more explosive talent, because I feel like the problem with women's MMA is about the finishes. Like, I feel like that there's a lot of females that are very skilled.
This one was invented by a writer.
But there's not a lot that are as explosive. You know that when you go away to go get something to drink, when you come back, they're still going to be fighting.
Yes! Get over that!
That is a major part of it. And I feel like going to get Larissa Pacheco, going to get Dakota DeChiva, you know, pushing somebody like Wang Kong, getting those people in front of the viewers and seeing what the elite of the elite can do as far as putting people away, I think that would go a long way. Like, I feel like they dropped the ball on marketing a lot of these people who are able to do these things. Like, they tried to do it with Mayra Bueno Silva, but she didn't reciprocate.
What an idiot! Oh!
So, like, they really got to hitch their wagon to somebody that does that. Same way they did to Ronda. When Ronda was coming up and armbarring everybody, like, it was exciting because you were like, these fights are getting ended real fast. Like, she's dangerous. You don't have that danger. People are like, I don't want to see them tap each other for 15 minutes.
Come on, you can do better.
Yeah. The danger factor is definitely not there in a lot of these fights. And I think even with male fights, like, you know, when they talk about the most horrible fights of all time, you've got like the Derek Lewis Ngannou one is usually the one that's put up against the Carla and Rose fight. Yeah, at least with the men, you feel like there's like this danger there of something could happen. You keep watching because it's like all it takes is one moment where someone's going to spark the other person out. Whereas often in women's MMA, when you're watching it, you're kind of like, yeah, you know within a minute, nah, this ain't going nowhere. So I think you're 100% right with that. Women aren't as explosive as men are.
You don't say.
People aren't going to love that take, but it's factual. I do think an atomweight division would be very helpful. If you check out the fights that they're having over there, you regularly see like not just scrappy bangers, but very skilled fights as well. Because like I said, women are naturally smaller humans. And the fact that we have all this room for all the fatties, but none for them, makes like no sense to me. It's like in relative terms, it's the same in the men's divisions. The smaller you get, the more highly skilled they get. I feel like the standards that they have within the women's division as compared to the men's are significantly lower. And I think that in order to get the women to where the men are, we need to judge them by the same standards.
What the heck?
Well, we often see women, either they've got very few fights on their record, or they've got just bad records coming into the organization. That needs to stop happening. I think, like, in order for women to get into what is supposed to be seen as the #1 organization in the world, they need to have got a proven track record of showing that they can have high-level fights before they're being given contracts.
He ain't lying.
I think another thing that adds to that standards thing as well is how many women have we seen that are on like ridiculous losing streaks that somehow don't get munted out of the organization as well. I mean, if you remember, we had Ashley Yoder, who was 8-9 and had 4 losses in a row. She was still hanging around.
Get the fuck out of here!
We had Zyra Fern, who was 6-7, and she hadn't won since 2017. She fought this year. She fought in 2024, and she's 6-7 and hasn't won in 7 years.
What the fuck are we doing out here?
And you're fighting in the UFC. Bro, man, they need to cut these garbage trash bag females. This would be unacceptable in the men's division.
It's Tony time, bitches!
I would also like eliminate, you know, when they have like these token women's main events. And you know me, like I like to take the piss out of women quite a lot, all trolling and that aside and all joking aside. I'm very much all for people from all walks of life getting opportunities. But I think like it was an Elon Musk interview.
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
You don't believe in DEI, right? Do you not believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I think we should treat people according to their skills, and that's it.
And that should be the overriding factor, as opposed to you've got a box between your legs. Is basically where we're at. I do think that the UFC should make more of an effort to put investment into grassroots. You know, spending more money on attracting female markets, making it very clear that it's a sport that women can pursue and be successful in. So I know there's a bit of give and take there, but also investing in kind of in the youth and giving women the same opportunity and people from different backgrounds the same opportunity as you do with men and certain ethnicities that are in more privileged situations. And I'm sure the performance institutes and what like that and having them in different countries is going to help with that to some extent. So it might be playing the long game as well. I don't know if this might be a very bad analogy, but you know, like when you play a video game, for example, right? And you've got different settings on a video game. You've got easy, medium, and hard or whatever. If you're playing on easy from the jump set, you're never going to get better at the game because you're not being challenged to elevate yourself. And I feel like the women are playing on easy mode. They can enter the organization easier. They can hang around longer for doing less, and then they can be put in positions of privilege based on a lot less of what they've demonstrated. Yeah. And you get these token things of, oh, we've got to have a women's main event this year because we want to show that we're a representative company. It's like, bro, no, you're either good enough or you're not. And I think the UFC needs to be more ruthless in this regard. If it ends up being, all right, well, now we've only got 10 ranked fighters, fuck it. I said to you right now, and you are somebody who's a historian of the sport, like, you know, you're coming out of examples where I'm like, who? It's like, yeah. and I've been around for a while as well, and like, if I asked you to name 10 female fights that were not just exciting, but they were high level, I think you would struggle.
It would be tough. It would be tough.
I don't know if I could name 5. I'll be honest, and that's a problem, you know. Like, there have been 5, of course there have. There've been 10. There's probably been 50. But could you name them? Could you name 5 or 10?
You'd struggle.
If I asked you to name 10 great male fights, you'd have a different opinion than somebody else, but you'd be boom, 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 boom. And then I'd say it to somebody else. They'd rack off 10 different ones. And then you'd have... It was very clear. When I made that video, bruv, it was... Not one person mentioned a female fight at all.
You know, another thing too, another video that you made as far as like, you know, what fight would you show somebody who, you know, was just getting, you know, or you're trying to introduce them to MMA, and you know what my fight would have been was a female fight, is Amanda Nunes against Cyborg. Like, that fight right there is a fight that's what I showed CJ. That fight showed what they are capable of.
I don't hate women, as much as people probably disbelieve that. It's like, I want women's MMA to do well, because I want to tune in every week and I get the same level of, and again, I'm not saying we don't get shit men's fights. You damn right we do, but it ain't the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same as a shit. Women's MMA in general is dog shit. It just is. It's a meme among the community. And it's not just us being men, because when women's fights are sick, it's like what you said. Joanna and Wei Li, one of my favorite fights of all time. Yours would have been Cyborg and Amanda. We can think of when a female fight is good, we'll be like, bro, that was sick. It was like when we were talking about the Contender Series fight last week, when that young buck, that 22-year-old came in, and did she blow the house down? No, but she showed some skill, she showed some heart, she looked good. And we were all like annoyed when she didn't get a contract, ironically enough. So it's not like we're ragging on MMA because we hate women. We just want them to be better.
Yep.
When I'm watching a card on a weekend, you feel the same way. We've done live streams together where we're literally sat there and we're like, oh, for fuck's sake, now this fight's coming on. It shouldn't feel like that. And we are balls deep in this. Yep. We talk about it every day. We have channels on it. We watch it every weekend. We drag our fucking families into it.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, and if anybody,
we just want it to be good,
accepting of, fighters having to get into the fight to get where they are trying to go. Like, it's us. We have more patience with it, and if we're not patient with it, just imagine somebody who doesn't watch it like that.
It's important. But yeah, like I said, I'm not out here hoping that they never get their shit together, because it annoys me, because I want them to do well. I want good things for women in the sport. I want them to showcase incredible fights every week. But we have to make it as tough on them as we do on the men. That's all. You want equal opportunity, you can get the equal opportunity slap in the face as well. You know, you have to show the same level, or don't be here, don't be involved.
It's only fair. They just got to be put in place and given the right tools to be able to succeed like that. And I feel like some of them haven't been given those tools, and I think you just have to give them that to see what can happen. And maybe it'll be behind. I mean, like you said, they are so far behind, but give it 10 years. Let's see what happens.